Well, what's up, guys? I'm here in the Nava workshop. What do you call it?
The workshop.
Workshop. Yeah, man. This is my buddy Josh Nava. You pronounce it Nava?
Nava.
Nava.
Yeah.
That's
Like
nice.
Navajo.
But I met Josh. I met you on Instagram a long time ago. I followed you through 365 Spoons, and saw you just beat your hands and your heart doing. You did a spoon a day
Every day for 4 years.
This was last year, right?
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
And here we are at Suburban Pallet. Can you see that? Suburban Pallet. So, anyways, I had the idea to grab some camera time and just ask you some questions and let maybe my folks see what you're doing and hear the story. And so, tell us first, where are we?
So
this is a random city outside of Nashville.
Yeah, we're in a small area, a small neighborhood outside Nashville that we call Hopewell. It's in Hermitage, Tennessee.
Not Armitage.
No, not Armitage. It's Hermitage. It's Andrew Jackson's home. It's called the Hermitage, and it's just around the corner, so that's why it's called Hermitage.
Oh, wow.
So we're in Andy Jackson's backyard.
That's
here.
a big deal.
Yeah, so we are in a small warehouse on the property of an organization that I work with called Global Outreach Developments International, and my workshop is on that property.
Okay, yeah. And you were telling me about this organization, GOD International.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, godinternational.org.
.org.
He's been telling me about this. Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go any further, tell us about the stash and how awesome it is that you look like Doc Holliday.
Yeah,
I don't think you had it when I met you online.
I've had it. Well, let's see. I've had it for maybe 2.5
Okay, maybe
years.
you did.
I had a job. I think I was working at Trader Joe's, and at some point I was like, you know what? I don't have any rules for my facial hair. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And so I started. I had it got kind of crazy. It's tamed itself.
You've been pulling on it the whole time.
I got some mustache wax from.
Our buddy Great Bear.
Yeah, from Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mr. Carnley, a little shout out if you watch this. Great Bear Wax Go.
It's been working pretty well. I've been
Nice.
impressed. So yeah, it's nice.
He's been messing with it the whole time.
Yeah.
But I love the Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
You need a.
It kind of stuck. It stuck because everybody in Nashville recognizes me for that, so I'm almost stuck into
That's
it. Where
perfect.
it's like, it's like a funny hat.
Yeah.
That people recognize.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's perfect. I don't have it right. I don't have that right now.
Don't worry
Maybe
about
it's my boots. Maybe that's the.
Your voice is what it
constant.
is.
Yeah. So tell us. Okay. So Suburban Pallet. Tell us about the name.
Yeah,
and the design. This is really cool.
Okay. Yeah. Suburban Pallet kind of came out of as part of our organization, we were going to make some products, and we had started working with pallet wood. I mean, as many woodworkers I think do, because it was like a free resource and often something that people are just throwing away or they have stacked up. And so we figured, can we take something that's essentially considered trash or something that people look at and don't see any value in and apply skill to and make something incredibly valuable that we can even then use, to teach people how to be, good with their hands or to do things with their hands, and also to support their families or support what they're doing. And so originally we were making like tables and other sorts of things. And then I started getting into, just as a personal project, I did the 365 Spoons project and started working with woods, just like raw logs that I would find on the side of the road that I figured I could make spoons out of. And so that was that.
Awesome. So we got some spoons.
We'll check it. Let's see.
Here's some spoons.
Yeah, so these are some of the works. Walnut, yeah.
Oak?
Cherry.
Oh, it is cherry.
Yeah. So so I split these.
What do you think? Is this a good pose right here?
Yeah, that would be my friend Josh Holmer had me doing that down here on the
Check the Instagram, and you'll see some solid Doc Holliday.
I said it was the classiest picture that's ever been taken of me.
That's awesome.
So.
But what is your Instagram?
I have a few. So my personal Instagram is Josh Nava, one word, JOSHNAVA. My project page is 365 Spoons.
Yeah,
that has all of the spoons that I did for that
365
for that year,
spoons,
plus or minus a few.
And you did do it? I don't think I've asked you. You accomplished it and did it every day.
Yeah, finished. Yeah.
And did you ever do two?
No.
In one day, and then
everybody always asks me that, and even in my mind, I was like, this would be a lot easier if I just did some in advance.
That reminds me of a story in the Old Testament about gathering bread. Gather it all in one day and don't do it every day.
Yeah.
And you were tempted to do that.
Yeah, I was tempted to do that. It would have been smart to do that.
So it is a smart thing to produce many in one day.
Well, if you are, yeah. Well, I guess if you're selling them, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the project, because it was about like coming back to something every single day.
You were telling me about that.
That kind of discipline that says like I'm gonna do. Here's my goal. I'm gonna do this one thing every single day. I'm only gonna do one. That's my minimum, amount. I kind of started that project just as a way of like I want to push my skills, kind of force myself to do woodworking and get better at it. But working full time, having a family, we're about to have a new little one.
Awesome.
How do you figure out?
So number 3,
number 2,
number 2. Oh, this is at the time.
Yeah, this is at the time.
Got it. I thought you were telling me now.
No.
Okay.
I hope not. I mean, actually, I kind of hope do, but yeah, I wouldn't know. So I just figured, how do you take if you're working full time, if you have kids, if you have a family, you have all these demands on you, how do you develop a skill in the middle of that? And there's a few resources that I was reading, things that I was learning about, even just the learning process, and just how do you take this huge? You basically just have to take a huge goal and break it down into like a minimum, a minimum quota thing.
Yeah,
so if it was like, they say like if you have trouble flossing, like the way that you train that behavior is just to commit to flossing just one tooth every day.
Okay.
Because by the time you go to floss one tooth, you're gonna do the rest of them, right?
It's gonna landslide.
But that small goal allows you to overcome the mental hurdles that you feel.
And you get solid, good breath after.
Yeah, and that helps too. But I mean, it works with everything. It's like how do you develop a business, or how do you make something? I need to make X number of dollars. Well, you just need to make this much today, this much an hour. Break it down.
That's good advice.
Yeah, and it makes it so that you can. You're kind of just playing tricks with yourself, but it's necessary because often things, everybody has that something that's like, I want to learn this, I want to do this, but it's like, it's too large.
Yeah.
And they just need to make it so that, okay, just for today, I'm just going to do
that. Awesome. What is your favorite thing to make?
It's a great question.
Like the number one thing to make. If you could just make something, what do you like to make?
More than the...
Don't say spoons.
More than the making, I think, is just the figuring out, the process of developing a product.
So any new challenge?
Anything new.
I
I have things that I make, production runs of.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's fine. But it's really like the getting in, designing a product, making prototypes.
Yep.
I made a cash register for a coffee shop here in town called the Barista Parlor.
Okay.
And it was like from the ground up, matching the design of the space, achieving like some engineering things, and making something completely unique. And that was just I love that process, just that back and forth with the owner, and just designing and sketching and iterating.
So anything new.
Anything new. Yeah, I mean that's.
Have you developed a product and it just bombed?
I'm sure.
Just like, this isn't going to work.
Well, I think that's part of the challenge. There was one thing that I made. Do I have any around here? There's this Arrowhead coffee stir that I made, and I would make coffee. It was like something that I would use, and I was like, oh, this might be. But I think it's one of those things that people see, and they are, and they're like, I don't understand where that fits in my life, and I think,
if you're like me and you drink coffee black, I don't need to stir anything.
Yeah, well, they like for Chemex, it was part of the Chemex process, like the brewing process. There's a few techniques, but because people don't know that.
Maybe I will find a use for that.
Yeah, there's people that are like, they look at that and they're like, I don't know what that means. Yeah. But I think there's valuable lessons even in things like that. If you can learn how to like even hack those, bombs, if you will, you can learn things.
And you got to not be afraid of failing. You're just doing something that you're like, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah, because otherwise. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I learned through the 365 Spoons project was that, if you have all of your efforts in just like making just one thing work, if it has to work, you're basically live in fear of that one thing, and you're just gonna like spend a ton of time doing it, and you spend all this time doing it. If it doesn't work, you're gonna probably not try again. But with that project, it was like it kind of broke perfectionism, having to force myself to produce one thing every day, because it was like, if at the end of the day I was like, man, this isn't a great design, I don't like that, I'm not happy with that, I know I'm going to come back to it tomorrow and try again and learn the lesson from yesterday. And so just being able to like just do that one thing and keep coming back to it again and again.
Yeah, and again. Absolutely. Do you remember your Christmas Day spoon?
Christmas Day spoon.
Or a holiday or a day that you're just like, oh, dude.
Oh well, there was
Didn't you
definitely.
make a real small one on your finger?
Yeah, I made a.
Okay, I remember
There's this
that.
guy on Instagram, Marco Terenzi.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, I was
The
like,
miniature guy?
I would, one of the things, the tactics that I kind of came up with was like, if I was making something for this person, what design would that be, or
Yeah.
what function would that have? And that was that was one of
Awesome.
them. I was like, Marco Terenzi.
Yeah,
if I was gonna make a
that's-
spoon for
that's
Marco
awesome.
Terenzi, I'd make it like this.
That's
So.
awesome, man. Okay, what is your favorite tool? What's your go-to tool, whether it's something you use or something that you just, it's inspirational? Maybe there's one in here that has a story.
Think about that.
Well, a hand tool that you like to use.
Well, I think I've come to
Which
value.
will give you a quick 360.
Yeah,
here in a little
I
bit.
think I've come to value the utility of a knife. For a long time I had no use for knives,
Yeah.
and knives, or these old tools that you look at and they're kind of menacing, like axes and knives. Like if you saw a guy on the street carrying an axe and a knife, fear, right?
Yeah.
But realizing even like this
It
it has a if you respect it, it has the ability to also produce useful things. Something as simple as that. This is made by a knife maker in England called
Okay.
Ben Orford.
And what type of knife?
It's-
Is that a paring knife?
This is called a Sloyd knife.
Sloyd knife.
It's Sloyd is the Swedish word for means like not unpractical or not uncrafty or can do.
Sweet.
It basically it's carving. It's a carving knife for carving green wood for making things, and but yeah, being able to even like take something as simple as that and manipulate a full, just a
Yeah,
piece
that's
of wood, like something like that. Crack that open. You see these on the side of the road all the time. People trimming their trees, but you can make something
Yeah.
that is beautiful, useful, and has it's going to last a really long time. So
Cool.
I think that's
Awesome.
things like that.
The, the carving knife. Okay, tell us this. You use Instagram. You like Instagram. Who's like your number one favorite Instagram account person to follow?
Oh my goodness! I think.
Obviously, you would say.
I was about. Oh yeah, I was about to say that. Oh, I have to
that's
choose somebody else.
That's
Yeah, okay.
excluding me, of course.
Okay, let me think about somebody else then.
But yeah, who do you get inspiration from? Who do you enjoy following? Or
I think the person. I think there's one. The person that
give
is
them a big shout out.
like Workerman.
Anybody.
Are you familiar with Workerman?
Oh, Workerman. Just no.
WKRMN.
Okay.
He's doing the coolest stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna have to once I turn this video off, check it out.
Just really interesting, like lots of different materials, really creative. He definitely has seems to have a graphic design illustrator background
Okay,
because
cool.
all of his physical products have like this graphic
Awesome.
element to them. But he
Yeah.
just makes really cool like kitchen tools,
Yeah.
knives. He's just
Awesome.
really doing really interesting things. I'm
Very
always
cool.
inspired by him. But I think anybody who's able to do something consistently and you see them sell, they're constantly trying to improve, and that when they post, they're not just trying to I just got to post today. They are trying to think about it, make
Cool.
it meaningful.
Yeah.
That's who I like to follow.
Awesome. Okay, what would you give as we wrap up here? What advice? I think folks tuning in today and watching, or if you're watching, at any time, trying to maybe start something or wanting to do their own thing. What advice do you give to someone who maybe has a full-time gig or a family or single, or what do you give to someone trying to just make it as a maker, craftsman, start something?
Yeah,
what do you want to tell them?
Yeah, we've begun to work with artists, like people who have skills. That's actually something that Suburban Pallets, one of our goals is to find artisans who are in that
Awesome.
situation.
Yeah.
But the thing that I tell people is think about the thing that you want to do. Like, what is the thing that excites you? Whether it's man, there's these credenzas that I would love to make out of oak and mahogany, or there's a girl we work with. She's a shepherdess, and she's like, me and my mom used to make these elaborate rugs, just really incredible.
Yeah.
And I tell her, I was like, how long? That's going to take 80 hours to make. You're gonna have to sell it for thousands of dollars. And if that is your goal, like I said before, it's too large, you'll never come back to it.
Yeah,
You'll end up just trying to find work wherever you do. So the challenge is to break it down. How can you scale that down into something that you can make that task part of your everyday,
Awesome.
so that you're moving incrementally forward instead of trying to do the big thing all at once.
So don't put the whole mustache wax
a
in.
little bit
Just
at a time.
little at a time.
A little bit at a time. And that's all that you need.
Dude, that's actually great advice. I mean, that really is solid. Well, Josh, thanks for hanging. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was fun and informative. And then I'm gonna do a Periscope on the 360 tour, and I think you can go back to that app and watch it. Field Treasure is the name for the Periscope. Follow Josh
Nava.
Nava
One word.
personal 365 spoons to
Project
see the
page. See all the spoons,
and
and
then
then Suburban Pallet.
awesome, and then suburbanpallet.com.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. All right. Well, thanks for hanging, and thanks, bro.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.